Hey mamas, welcome back to another love note of encouragement. During our uncertain times, these notes are just my way of sharing a little love, encouragement, and positive energy with all of us. And for today's note, I wanted to talk about quick fixes versus playing the long game. This idea came to mind yesterday when we were downstairs in our basement area, our lower level, and we had started a home renovation project down there last summer, but it turned out to be a lot bigger project than we had anticipated. And so we pretty much just blocked off the room and didn't even use that area until a week ago when my husband needed to work from home, and the rest of our home is an open floor space and wasn't conducive for him to have some space set aside to be able to work. So we went back into that room, and now that we've been spending more time in that space, kind of working things around a little bit more as we're in there. And one of the things that we wanted to fix was there was this drop ceiling popcorn, kind of like those old office building things in our basement. And so we popped some of those tiles out and realized that there's another foot of headspace and a stucco-ish kind of ceiling up there. So we're like, I wonder why they put this drop ceiling in. Like, it doesn't look great. You lost a lot of headspace. It seemed so strange. But then it came out as we removed more and more tiles that in one of the corners of the room, there had been something had happened and the ceiling had gotten cracked. And there was like one central point, and then it kind of radiated spider webs out from there. And so what it seems to us is that the family who lived here previously decided, instead of fixing that crack and dealing with that issue, they just installed the drop ceiling to cover it up. And it got me thinking about that situation. We've lived now in 5 homes, and we've seen a lot of these little quick fixes, kind of, instead of fixing the root of the problem. And I think it just as this is not just in our homes or specific to the homes that we had, but as a society in general, we've created a way of living where we reach for the quick fix first. We want the instant gratification. We want things to look nice. And we don't really want to do the hard work that it takes or invest the money and the time and the effort into really truly fixing things. And when I take a bigger step back into the broader perspective of what's going on right now and why are we being challenged the way that we're challenged in the middle of this pandemic, is that it's not only that people are getting sick, but it's that our larger structures, our systems that were in place, couldn't handle this type of challenge that we over the years had duct taped and band-aided and put putty and fresh coats of paint on, so things looked okay. And maybe on the edges there were a few people that said, hey, this isn't really working that great, or hey, that's not really an effective way of doing things. But we didn't have enough of a crisis for it to become fully aware of just how those services and how those systems and protocols weren't effective. And so now that we are in this middle, we are being challenged in a huge way, as collectively, as a society, a culture, and as a world. And our systems are crumbling around us. The band-aids are flying off. And what's being revealed underneath is that there is a lot of rot. There's a lot of decay. There's a lot of things that need deep attention. And so as we sit here in the midst of the unknown of how long this will go on, what the world will look like afterwards, what will our lives look like during, we have 2 options that I really see. We have either to choose the quick fix, or we can play the long game. The quick fix being throw some money at it, put some band-aids on the short term, put some emergency programs into place that are kind of piecemealed into into place. We can lock down, we can isolate, we can just hunker down and survive and hold on and wait until the end. Or we can play the long game. And the long game has that first step that the quick fix does. But the difference is that we're putting programs into place with intention. We're putting structures and programs into place to stabilize our current situation and to support people in this moment where we are. And then it pairs that immediate action with a second step, the long game step, where we build upon those initial structures that we put into place to architect a system that is both resilient, robust, and flexible enough to be able to handle a challenge to the magnitude of which we are currently challenged. The scary part of the long game is that it's an unknown. We've never done it before. But just because we've never done something before doesn't mean that we don't still have the capability of doing it. We just need to stick in it. And so when we can bring it back into a practical level of, just this physical ceiling that we have two options. We can put some putty on it, sand it down, and put a nice coat of paint to match the rest of the ceiling, and voila, a brand new ceiling, perfect, la da 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 da, and go along with our lives until it's challenged, until the floor shifts, until the temperatures change and flux, and whatever was underneath that created the crack in the first place will reoccur. And almost always what happens is that the crack doesn't crack in just the same way. It cracks bigger, it cracks deeper. And so as we look at going forward, we need to really get down deep into and fully understand the problem. Why are our systems failing in the way that they're failing? What are we relying on? What are our expectations of our government, of our educational system, of our workforce that are being called into question and aren't serving us right now? And after we fully understand our problem and dig deeper to that root of the cause, and then from there we can build outwards. We can begin building the structures, that we aren't shooting ourselves out of a cannon for a quick fix, but we're instead intentionally architecting and building protocols, slowly, steadily, intentionally, so we become stronger and we leave this world a better place than when we came into it. The quick fix and the long-term game can really come down to the core question of, are we going to be the victim or are we going to be the hero of this situation? The victim feels powerless. They say, I don't know, and I don't believe that I'm capable of doing anything. So I'm just going to hunker, I'm just going to collapse myself inwards and just hope that I survive. Whereas the hero, on the other hand, expands outward and they say, I have no idea what I'm doing, and I believe that I am capable of doing something good, something effective. And I believe that I have faith. I have hope that tomorrow will be better than today. And I have that faith not because it's airy-fairy or a magical wand. I have that faith because I'm here, boots on the ground, doing what I can, what is within my control, and I am showing up and doing that. The decision to become the hero or the victim begins with each of us. It begins with each of us each and every day. The transformation from a world that lives for quick fixes to playing the long-term game begins with each of us. Begins with each of us each and every morning. Begins here in our minds, begins here in our hearts, and then begins here in our hands. We have the capability of choosing. As my son sleeps in the next room, I have to look at him and think, what kind of world am I going to leave for him? What is my legacy going to be? Both what is my legacy in the world going to be, but also what is the legacy that I'm showing? What type of behavior am I modeling for my son? That when faced with crisis, when faced with the greatest challenge that I've ever been faced with in my life, how did I show up? Did I show up as the victim? Did I hide myself away? Or did I show up as the hero of my story? Did I show up and do what I was capable of doing? Show up and believe that I, as an individual, have unique gifts. And did I show up and give that gift, that encouragement to others, to believe that each and every single one of us is here for a reason, that we each have gifts that we are uniquely endowed with, and that our world needs them now more than ever. So as we go forward through this challenge, we don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know where it's going to take us. But we have the power to decide, victim or hero. Each and every morning, we get to decide. What is the legacy that we will leave? And that's our love note for today. I hope that it's been encouraging and that you know that it is always possible to tap into the hero within you. And I forgot, I had a quick quote that I just loved that from the author Marisha Pessel. And she says, "One or two individuals in times of crisis turn into heroes, a handful into villains, and the rest into fools." Times of crisis bring out the best and the worst in all of us. How can we as individuals make that decision to allow our foolish self to stay in bed and to rise as the powerful heroes that our world needs now more than ever? I'll see you next time. Bye.